do now is we're going to do a deep dive into results. And when we're looking at results, we're going to look at it from two perspectives. We're going to look at types of results, and we're going to look at levels of results. Now, on the types, we're going to start with the most basic thing that most people are trying to achieve. I hear this a lot when I ask, what are you trying to achieve when you're doing something? And that's completion. I just want to get it done. So it's similar to the reason why you're doing it, because I was asked to or because I have to. And then, so what are you trying to achieve? I just need to get it done. So that's the first level, but that's actually not a result because it has no quality component in it. But it is a necessary foundation. It is hygiene, so to speak. But then the next thing is actually what I call efficiency, which is how did you get it done? So that's the first kind of thing you might be trying to achieve. Efficiency has to do with the use of resources, how well you're able to use the resources, how well you're able to how well you're able to use your time, the finances, people, etc. Less for more. Then the next, but that's still not all. Now, even if you're very efficient, then we need to look at the actual nature of the output. So then we talk about the quality. When we talk about quality, we're talking about the appropriate an appropriate standard of measure of quality for that particular type of output. So for every action you're taking, the output you produce belongs in a category where there are evolving standards of quality, and the question is whether your output quality is meeting those standards as they're evolving or setting new standards of possible quality. And then we get to the top level, which is effectiveness. And this is, at this point, we're talking about the actual impact of that output, which is the actual result, the real result we should all be aiming for, which is this output actually making a difference in any way, shape, or form? And what kind of difference is it? What's the value that the output is bringing to the target audience or recipient of that output? And that could be someone might be interested in the quality, efficiency, or completion, but ultimately there is this concept of a target audience receiving the value of that output, and that is the nature of the impact. So you can ask yourself the question, for this activity that I'm doing, for this thing I'm doing, what's actually the type of result that I have in the back of my mind? Am I just trying to get it done, so completion? Or am I pushing for some kind of efficiency? I'm trying to get it done as quickly as possible so that we use less time, less energy, or maybe even less money. Or am I pursuing a certain standard of quality? Say, for example, I'm looking at making sure that we have, we're meeting the minimum standards or even exceeding industry standards of whatever. It could be efficiency or whatever. Or you could move one step further and saying that you're really focused on ensuring that while you complete it with efficiency and with quality, your focus is on delivering the expected value to the recipients, the impact, what's expected, what they're expecting, or what's expected of that output, of that activity is actually being achieved at that endpoint, at that target audience endpoint. So it could be satisfaction, could even be revenue, it could be anything, but it's really what's the goal for this, and the goal could be efficiency, the goal could be quality, but in most cases you do want to find out who is that person who needs to be satisfied, so to speak, and what are they expecting, and are we making sure that we're getting that out? So those are the types of results. On the levels of results, I think the easiest way to explain this is to use an example. So by levels of result, we're talking about at what point in the activity spectrum are you defining your result? Are you defining at the macro level or at the micro level from a tangible perspective? And I would also look at the intangible. So for the tangible perspective, if you take a game like soccer, for example, then the macro level in the World Cup context would be you want to win the World Cup, for example. So winning the World Cup is requires a whole bunch of other results and achievements to get to the point where you actually win. So that's at the top macro level. At the lowest if you go down to a micro level, it would be that I need to dribble this player in this game. So that's like looking right down at one action at a particular point in time, of which many of those actions and other actions would lead to that macro level. And somewhere in the middle, you've got this, I need to win this game, right? So in between all of that, you've got multiple games, multiple dribbles, attempts at the goal, etc. These are all small actions with small possible results. that need to be achieved in order for the macro result to be achieved. And at any point in time, you're trying to be sure, okay, so what's your level of result that you're pushing for? How micro or macro is it? And if you notice, as I talk about the results, I'm talking about the activities, which we'll talk about in the next video when we deep dive into activities. So that's macro, micro. So what's the level of, at what level are you looking at across your activity spectrum to define your result? And then the intangible is basically when your result is based around your feeling. So one of the goals is to feel a sense of fulfillment or satisfaction. So you're aiming for an internal feeling of satisfaction, or you're aiming for an increased level of confidence and courage, and that's actually one of the things that's in the intangible level of result, and or a clearer sense of purpose. So there you have it. So when you're thinking about results, why you're doing the activity, you can ask yourself first, am I doing it because I'm just trying to get it done, or am I doing it because I'm trying to achieve some kind of efficiency? I want to get it done quickly. I want to get it done with less money, etc. Or am I also pursuing some kind of standard of output, standard of quality, as reflected by the industry within which I'm doing that activity, and what's expected of that activity? Am I trying to meet it? Am I trying to exceed it? Or am I going one step further and saying actually that I want to make sure that this output is fit for purpose and achieves the results it needs to achieve? And then I need to go and reflect again and think, at what level am I thinking about my results? Is it at how macro or micro is my perspective of my activity? Is it very micro at the level of just dribbling, or is it macro as the level of winning the World Cup? And at what point for this particular thing I'm thinking about am I reflecting? And then also what am I consciously engaging with at a personal level in terms of feelings of fulfillment and satisfaction that I'm pursuing, that I'd love to get, confidence and courage evolving and increasing, and clarity of purpose. So you can reflect on your results this way, and as you do that, you get clearer on the results, which from the performance layer video, you see that it has an impact on the level of effort that you invest in the activity.